Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mission Report, the Nintendo News Show. This is episode number 2. My name is James, and today I have 6 different items to discuss with you. And let's just jump right in there. The first thing that I want to talk about is a brand new trailer that dropped for Mario Tennis Fever. I first saw this trailer in the Nintendo Store app in the news section. Sorry, I was hearing an echo. Need to turn that down. The trailer is almost 6 minutes in length, and it highlights different shots, rackets, and modes. It shows off the 4-player co-op. It shows off the game share, how one person can own the game, and you can play it on 4 different devices, which is pretty cool. And then it also talks about the compatible amiibo, which I'll get back to here in a minute. Excuse me. At the end of the trailer, it reiterates that the game is out February 12th, and that's about it for the trailer. I haven't really been keeping up a whole lot with everything that they've been showing for this game, but from my perspective, it seems like this retouches a lot of the talking points from some of the other trailers that we've already seen. The last Mario sports game that came out was Mario Golf, and I remember that game being criticized for being kind of light on contact and not really on content, and not really getting a whole lot of like post-launch support. So it does seem like they're trying in these trailers to really like drive home that there's like a lot of stuff here. I think there's like 30 or 60 different rackets for you to collect. They highlight like 5 different game modes. And so it seems like you're going to have quite a bit of stuff to do at launch, and then you're also going to continue to like add stuff to the game as well, which is nice. I think that's nice to see. As for me, I've never been a huge fan of a lot of the Mario sports games. Mario Tennis, as somebody who did actually used to play tennis competitively, is probably the one that I'm most interested in, but I'll probably check out the like adventure mode or the story mode, unlock all of the like rackets and characters, and then probably be on my way. One thing that I do want to talk about real quick from this trailer is that they did specifically mention amiibo, and so the amiibo that they've said will be compatible with Mario Tennis Fever are Bowser Jr. from the Smash line, and then Bowser, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Rosalina, Yoshi, Waluigi, Wario, Toad, Daisy, and Donkey Kong, all from the Super Mario Bros. Line. And I think that's a lot. I think it's significant that they mention amiibo here in this trailer, because this game's not getting any new amiibo releasing alongside of it. And usually when a game's not getting any new amiibo, Nintendo doesn't really talk about amiibo a whole lot. So I think that that's pretty significant, and it is nice as somebody who loves amiibo. It is nice to see Nintendo still supporting amiibo in 2026. As far as the different characters go, it seems like that's pretty much everyone. And I would also expect all of those characters to be playable in the game as well. And I would also think that it's like specifies the Super Mario version of like Bowser, Mario, and Luigi. But I would imagine that if you use the like Smash Bros version of any of those characters, that it would work as well. That's pretty typical for a lot of the like Nintendo first party games. And I think that's all that I have to say right now about Mario Tennis Fever. Number 2, we're getting new Joy-Con 2 controller colors. This comes from Nintendo of America on Twitter. As you enjoy Mario Tennis Fever, you'll also have the opportunity to give your Nintendo Switch 2 a new look. The first new colored Joy-Con 2 controllers, light purple and light green, also arrive February 12th. And It's nice, I guess, to see Nintendo like creating more options for people, but the way that they did it was really quite minimal. The amount of color on the actual controllers is like very little. Um and there's some like additional pictures and stuff. I'm not going to put them into the video, but you can go look them up. There's some additional pictures in the Nintendo Today app where they show what the controllers look like attached to the sides of the console, and you like can't even tell that there's anything different about them. It's so like minuscule that I almost wonder like what are you even doing? Like what's the point here? And so I find that to be a little bit disappointing. I'm also hoping that there will be other colors in the future, but like actually like more colors. I'd like for like the entire Joy-Con to be a different color instead of just like the shadow under the thumbsticks. And with oh yeah, as far as me getting these, I'm not in the market for a new set of Joy-Con right now. And them being a slightly different color isn't enough to make me go out and buy some. But if I do end up needing an extra pair, like if I want to play a game where I need 6 Joy-Con for some reason, I'll probably go and buy these different ones because they're different than the 4 that I already have. But I don't really know if that will actually happen anytime soon. I do think so. With this year being the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, the 40th anniversary of Zelda, and also the 40th anniversary of like Metroid and Mario, I think it would be really cool to get some like limited edition Joy-Con controllers for any of those series, but I don't really have a lot of confidence that they're going to do something like that. So we should just move on. Up next, the My Mario collection is coming to stores in the US. You might remember this collection from, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago or something. They announced it, and I think it was only in Japan at the time. This comes from Nintendo, and I'm not going to read the entire press release because it's pretty long, but this comes from the news section of the Nintendo Store app. It says, Nintendo launches My Mario product line in the US. Curated experiences, toys, and apparel for young children and parents to enjoy together arrive at Nintendo New York and Nintendo San Francisco on February 19th. I'm going to skip down a little bit. And it says, the My Mario series includes 2 wooden block sets featuring Mario and well-known items from the Super Mario series, a free Hello Mario app for smart devices and Nintendo Switch systems, My Mario stop-motion animation series called It's Me Mario, now available on the My Mario website and the official Play Nintendo YouTube channel, a collection of apparel for infants and toddlers from onesies to sleepers and outfits for playtime, an interactive Hello Mario board book by Nintendo and published by Penguin Random House, soft toys that include fun rattles and cuddly Mario plush, Tomy Toomy's My Mario collection that will power up bath time with bath toys and water squirters inspired by iconic characters from the Super Mario franchise. And I think all of this is very weird. It's not as weird as it would have been probably a few years ago. At least in the last like couple years or so, it's been pretty clear that Nintendo wants to be more than just a video game company. But I think that this is pretty obviously an attempt by Nintendo to get some of their like older and aging fans to like get some of their kids interested in Nintendo stuff as well. I also couldn't miss the part where they said they're launching a new app, which I don't really know what they're doing here. That's going to be the 6th dedicated Nintendo app. And I think they should really like consolidate some of these a little bit. And as far as my own personal interest in any of this stuff, the thing that I'm probably most interested in, as far as like buying, is probably going to be the wood blocks, and I would probably put them like in the background here or something. And then I'll check out the app, I guess, and I'll check out the animation series since it's going to be available on YouTube. But since I don't have kids, like a lot of this stuff is like clearly like not for me. And I don't think I really have anything else to say about that. Number 4, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is being added to Nintendo Switch Online. It's going into the GameCube catalog, because it was a GameCube game. And this whole story comes from the news section of the Nintendo Store app on mobile, on like your iPhones and stuff. The tactical RPG arrives on Nintendo Classics, ellipses. This installment of the classic strategy role-playing series, Fire Emblem, was released for the Nintendo GameCube system in 2005. Fully voiced cutscenes and 3D maps accompany the return of the brutal battle system, where your units are gone for good if they fall in a fight. On the continent of Tellius, 2 races have built a history of strife, mistrust, and compromise. Now, sinister forces emerge from the shadows of this grand drama. That's wrong. Now, sinister forces emerge from the shadows to pit the 2 groups against each other. Follow the protagonist, Ike, and a colorful cast of characters as this grand drama unfolds around them. Dark days are rising. Alright, so another Fire Emblem game is going into Nintendo Switch Online. I think there's a few Fire Emblem games in there already, at least 2 Game Boy or like Game Boy Advance games. Personally, I've never played a Fire Emblem game, and I don't really know if this would be a good first Fire Emblem game to play. I do know that the sequel to this game is only available on Wii, which makes it a little bit difficult to access at the moment. But the idea of permadeath is always pretty interesting to me in games, and from what I understand, I think permadeath is pretty standard for some of those early Fire Emblem games. I haven't played very many strategy role-playing games, so I think it could be a fun way to get I think like trying this out could be a fun way to kind of get me into like a new genre. But I don't really know because I've never played a Fire Emblem game. This game randomly just kind of showed up on Nintendo Switch Online on January 9th, and then Nintendo said something about it later, which I think is interesting. And then they also said on Twitter that some of this music from the game is going to be available in the Nintendo Music app. So check that stuff out if you like the Nintendo Music app. That's not my thing. Oh, and then I guess the final thing that I should say is that as far as Fire Emblem goes, this I think would probably be a good first Fire Emblem game for me. Of the Fire Emblem characters that I'm familiar with, which is all of them in Super Smash Bros., I think Ike is probably the one that I find the most interesting, and I think that's mostly because in Super Smash Bros. He is a beast. And that's all that I have to say about Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Up next, number 5, Game Voucher Update. This one actually came in an email from Nintendo, and it says that the final day to purchase Nintendo Switch game vouchers is January 30th, 2026. If you don't remember how vouchers work, I'm going to remind you. You can purchase you purchase vouchers in groups of 2 for $100, and so you end up saving about $20 on the pair of games that you get. You can redeem a voucher for any game in the voucher catalog. And from what I could see when I was looking around in there earlier, it looks like it includes most $60 games, some $50 games, and the only $70 game that I saw in there was The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I never really heard anybody talking about the game vouchers. So it's not too surprising that they're getting rid of them or that they're cutting off the purchase of them. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see them return in some way in the next year or so, so that they can incorporate like Switch 2 games into that system a little bit. Because right now you can only use right now the only games in the voucher catalog are Switch 1 games. So if you wanted the Switch 2 version of a game, you would have to buy the like Switch 2 upgrade separately. Oh, and then I should also probably mention that a purchased voucher is good for 1 year. So if you buy a voucher on January 30th, 2026, which is the last day, you could redeem it up until January 30th, 2027. So, personally, I've never bought or used a game voucher, and I don't even know if I know anybody that's done that. The main reason that I haven't done it is that I like to have my games physically because I like to share my games with my wife and my friends and display them behind me in YouTube videos. Let's keep moving. All right, number 6. This is the final news story that I have to talk about today. And there's a new collaboration between Lego and Animal Crossing. But don't get excited. It's not what you think. This comes from the news section of the Nintendo Store app. And it says, enjoy creative collaborations between... All right. Okay, I am actually going to read this entire thing. It's not very long. And it says, enjoy creative collaborations between the LEGO Group and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Unlock your imagination with a crossover that adds LEGO items to the Animal Crossing New Horizons game for the Nintendo Switch system and the Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 edition for the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Whew, that's a mouthful. The LEGO items will be added to the game with the free update version 3.0, which will be available on January 15th, 2026. After the update, you'll be able to purchase the LEGO items with in-game currency via Nook Shopping. You can access Nook Shopping at the Nook Stop terminal located inside Resident Services. Let's take a look at some of the items that will be available with the update. LEGO arcade game, LEGO bed, LEGO DIY workbench, LEGO fireplace, and more. Guys, talking in that voice really takes it out of me. We're almost done, though. These in-game items come in a variety of colors, so you can mix and match to find combinations you like. Happy shopping! Alright, so... Wow. So, when I first saw this headline, I thought, as a reasonable person would, that there were gonna be some, like... Animal Crossing themed Lego sets. I think that those sets already exist, but I thought there was going to be like more of them or something. This is... I don't know what the point of this is. Like, I really don't know. I don't know who this is for. I don't think that this would like be the tipping point for anybody. Like, oh man, now that there's like there's a Lego bed in the game, like I'm gonna go and check out Animal Crossing now. And this is definitely not something that's gonna get me to go and like check out the game again, having not played it for the last like 5 years or so. I really don't get what we're doing here. And that's all that I have to say about this newest collaboration between Lego and Animal Crossing. Which means that's all that I have for this video, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, the best way to keep up with me is on Instagram at James_Solar, and also right here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next mission.